Hello, tech enthusiasts. Welcome to an exciting and truly unique video. Today, we're going to witness the collaboration of AI as we create a short children's story. We've enlisted the help of 3 cutting-edge artificial intelligence tools. ChatGPT has composed the story's text, Midjourney has created the image of our main character, and with the recently introduced beta version of Photoshop, we'll be crafting illustrations for our story. Let me tell you right away. Firstly, this video is, according to my plan, aimed at showcasing the capabilities of Photoshop Beta. However, even I don't know exactly what the outcome will be. This leads to the second point. This video is a completely impromptu experiment, and I don't even know how it will end myself. I hope you're intrigued to join me in this experiment. If you are, give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on other equally intriguing experiments that await us in the future. Without further ado, let's dive in. Let's fire up the Photoshop Beta and embark on our creative adventure. If you're unsure about how to install Photoshop Beta and get free access for 7 days, I've recently released a short video where I explain all about it. Our very first task is to illustrate the whimsical village where our main character, Mila, resides. To generate the image, let's select the entire area and provide a prompt for the generation. I didn't complicate the prompt too much, simply using a description of the village from the story. You might notice that while generating the image, there are some hints on how to use the service. Here, we're presented with the initial 3 image options. The aim was to depict a quaint village with houses covered in moss and stars gleaming in the sky. The stars are in place and there's an abundance of them, just like the moss. However, the houses themselves, especially in a few of the images, appear quite peculiar. Let's give it another shot. We're aiming for something magical after all. It's a fairy tale after all. These aren't exactly village houses. They seem more like unknown abandoned structures engulfed in moss somewhere in the wilderness. Oh, but the third image is quite promising. What do you think? In my opinion, it captures a fairy tale-like essence. Well, it seems we're off to a decent start. Moving forward to the script, the next scene features our protagonist, Mila. We've already generated her image in Midjourney in advance. Here's how she looks. But now, we need to pose her appropriately. In this part of the story, Mila should be seated on the grass, gazing at the stars in the sky. Let's attempt to achieve this with Midjourney. Following the usual process, image, entering the prompt, and waiting. I deliberately opted to generate images of the main character specifically in Midjourney, so that she exudes a sort of fairy tale-like, slightly magical vibe. Midjourney's style allows us to achieve that effect. While Photoshop, on the other hand, is primarily designed for manipulating real photographs, resulting in a style that can often appear highly realistic, a completely distinct aesthetic. I'm even apprehensive that this might lead to some challenges today. Well, let's see how it pans out. Alright, well, it's not bad in principle. It even bears a resemblance to our initial version of the girl, sort of a benchmark. Let's take a closer look at image number 2. Yes, this will suffice. The only recurring issue with Midjourney, those extra limbs. As you can see, the girl has an excessive number of legs. We could potentially rectify this right here, using the recently introduced in-painting feature with the Vary Region button. I spoke about this new feature in a previous video, so be sure to check it out if you missed it. However, since the star of today's show is Photoshop Beta, we'll address this directly within the program. Let's save the image on the computer and open it up in Photoshop. Now, using the Remove tool, we can paint over the unnecessary legs here. Carefully paint over everything. And they're gone. Just like that. Quite a nice result, actually. If needed, you can go over this with the same tool again if there are any traces left from the removed object. I really like this tool. I use it often. It's irreplaceable for me. Let's select the object in the photo, cut it out, and place it onto our village photo. Shrink it a bit, position it somewhat naturally. Done. The first illustration is ready. The next scene in the story takes place in the forest. I don't know why a little girl would be alone in the forest at night, but nonetheless, for this illustration, the previously generated image of the same girl will work. Let's open it again, and let's make a few changes. To start, let's increase the canvas size. We'll increase the width of the image, say to 1000. Now, let's select an empty area to the side and fill it using the Content-Aware Fill tool. Done. Excellent result, and it's practically instant. Really good quality. Take a look for yourself. Let's try filling the other side with Generative Fill. We won't write anything as a prompt. Let it figure out what should be there on its own. This will, of course, take much longer than Content-Aware Fill, but I'm curious to see the result and compare. Well, generative fill did just as well, so both methods can be used. The only thing is, as I mentioned, content-aware fill is much faster.
And so, we have the girl sitting in the forest at night looking at the stars, and at that moment, a shimmering kitten appears next to her. We're using the lasso tool to outline the area and summon that enchanting kitten. Our trusty AI generates a range of options. The results are not straightforward. The second option is just a blurry spot. Let's try the same thing again.
Notice that during image generation, here on the side, all the options that Photoshop generated for us on this layer appear. We can always look at them, delete them, mark them as good or poor, and even send a report if needed. Also, there's the prompt we're using, and we can change it right here. And if you noticed, when generating an image, a new layer is created here. Honestly, I'm not very happy with the cat options that we got. Let's settle for something more or less suitable. For example, this black kitten.
Continuing with the script, the girl and the kitten have a conversation, and at some point, the kitten says that its star no longer shines. Let's try adding this very star to our sky. Using the lasso, we'll select the area where the star will be placed and write a prompt. It seems today is not our day. These stars don't fit at all. Alright, let's forget about it. According to the script, the girl is very surprised when a cat descends from the sky to her. Let's try to depict her surprise on her face. Oh, I have a feeling this is a bad idea, because all neural networks struggle with human facial expressions. But let's see what comes out of it. This will haunt me in my dreams. Oh my goodness, this is just an explosive surprise. Of course, along with the expression, the girl's head has completely changed as well because I wanted to change her angle. And in a big way, it's terrible. But at least the emotions are very strong, something that's quite challenging to achieve in Midjourney. Let's choose this option, where the girl looks somewhat similar to her original appearance. Of course, it's impossible to watch without tears and laughter, but let it be.
Now let's move on to the next illustration. File, also select the entire area. We need to be transported to a charming, starry path in the night sky. Mila's journey takes her to a star that she is determined to help shine again.
This isn't quite what I expected, but let's go with it. Now let's select some area. For the prompt, I'll insert a passage from the story. It seems Photoshop and I aren't really understanding each other. Let's try doing the same thing in Midjourney, because I'm already tired of Photoshop. Let's insert the same passage from the story as a prompt and see what comes out. Of course, in this case, I think the girl's appearance will change significantly, because I'm not including a reference to her original look. Plus, the prompt also includes the kitten. But it's interesting. However, look what we got. Wonderful images. The drawing style has changed, but now I'm ready not to pay attention to that. The girl, by the way, still turned out somewhat similar. Let's choose image 4 as the base for our illustration. To do this, let's open it in Photoshop and increase the canvas width, just like last time, to 1000. Let's also fill in the side area using Content Aware. This time it turned out a bit strange. Alright, let's fill the other side for now. This one turned out better. Now let's go back to the left edge, select a larger area, and generate that part of the image again. It's much better now, but we need to remove that branch or mast, whatever it is. The Remove tool will help us with that. Use it to paint over everything you want to remove. It turned out great. Now let's try changing the appearance of the kitten after all, because originally it was black. Outline the entire kitten, click on Generative Fill, and enter Black Cat. Oh my goodness, Photoshop really doesn't like cats for some reason. Why is it like this with cats? Alright, let's settle for the most reasonable option and move on. The main thing is that the cat is black. What if we try changing the color of the girl's eyes? Outline the eyes and write blue eyes. It's not bad. Not all options look natural, but there's something to choose from. Let's settle for these. I like them the most. And let's try getting rid of the hat. I understand there's a Remove tool, of course, but this time let's try using Generative Fill with a negative prompt. It turned out well. The only thing is that there's something extra at the top. I don't like it. Let's remove that. No, let's go with generative fill after all. And let's remove the remnants a bit, like this. And let's fill in the bottom corner. I'm not quite sure what's there. Like this, it's much better. What else? Let's change the color of the jacket. Carefully select the desired area and initiate the generation. Unexpectedly, it seems Photoshop is colorblind. I asked for black. Well, there's black, but still not quite right. What about the coat? We wanted a black coat, but got a white fur coat instead. Let's revert everything back. The jacket suits her very well. I'm actually quite disappointed. I expected there to be challenges with generating new objects, especially the cat, for example. But I didn't anticipate it to be like this. It's one thing to have minor inaccuracies, but this is going too far. It's sad. Let's move on to the next illustration. Once again, select the entire area. Honestly, I'm not really feeling like generating something here anymore, but let's give it one more shot. Well, it's a starry sky. Yes, but I was expecting something a bit different. Let's compare it with Midjourney. What will it produce with the same request? Of course, it's not entirely fair to compare Photoshop with Midjourney, because Midjourney is specifically designed for generating new images from scratch, while Photoshop is meant for editing existing images. But we're working with what we have. Midjourney also didn't quite produce what I wanted. But the sky turned out really beautiful. Let's take the second image, but keep only the sky. Something like this. In this illustration, the girl is supposed to help the star shine again. So let's select the area for our girl and write this kind of prompt. At this point, honestly, I don't even feel like recording this video anymore. Because how? I'm asking, how? Am I supposed to accept these results? I'm simply at a loss for words. Well, we have no choice but to turn to Midjourney again. We need a girl who's flying in the sky and reaching out to the star. As always, Midjourney is delightful. It's not the perfect option, but we can refine it using the Vary Region button. Select the entire hand and a bit of space above it, because we want the hand to be reaching upwards, and write down what we want to change. And wait, now everything looks exactly as we need it. Save the image and open it in Photoshop. Once again, we select the subject, cut out the girl, and place her onto the sky illustration we prepared earlier. We adjust her size, and let's try once more to add a bright star in the sky, which will be the kitten star. To do this, we select an area somewhere near the girl's hand and generate a star using the generative fill. Hooray! I finally got exactly what I wanted. A fantastic bright star. Let's also remove the small star nearby so it doesn't distract or steal the attention. For the next illustration, we need to return to Midjourney and generate a new image. In this scene, there will be a dialogue between the girl and the cat after they return from their journey in the sky and help the little star. It turned out okay. They don't quite look at each other, but it's acceptable. Let's go with the fourth image. Save it and open it in Photoshop. Now, the familiar steps. We increase the canvas width to 1000 and fill in the empty sides. This time, it didn't turn out very neatly. There are hints of the cat, even an eye. Let's remove all of that with the Remove tool. Now, let's try something else. In this scene, it talks about the girl's kind heart. Let's try to generate a heart. I would like to create a big heart behind them, but I think it won't work this way. Yes, that's right. It even turned the girl into a turtle and gave the cat quite a transformation. Well, let's stick with small, cute pink hearts. We have one final scene left. Once again, we ask Midjourney to help us create an image of the girl with the cat, open it in Photoshop, cut out the girl with the cat, and return them to our village. We adjust the size of our travelers. And for a farewell touch, let's try adding a star to this adorable kitten's forehead. We should have done that from the beginning since he's our starry kitten. Well, it turned out quite cute. So all our illustrations are ready. I'm a bit disappointed because I was expecting a more impressive result. But on the other hand, the Remove tool works wonderfully, and there are absolutely no complaints about it. Content Aware also works well, and it's lightning fast, with occasional hiccups. but you can always restart the process. However, generative fill still needs a lot of improvement. Again, it's essential to keep in mind that we use these tools for a purpose slightly different from their intended use. Photoshop is not meant to create illustrations from scratch. Nevertheless, it was quite an interesting experience. Right now, you can watch the wonderful fairy tale we've created. Before you go, don't forget to show some love by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Tap that notification bell too to stay in the loop on all our riveting experiments and tech explorations. Until we meet again, keep embracing the world of technology and stay as awesome as you are.